I'm Nancy Wilsker. I'm a partner here at Brown Rudnick and co-chair of the Boston Bar Association Banking and Finance Committee. And we are delighted to be co-sponsoring this series of presentations with the Morin Center for Banking and Financial Services at BU Law School. We have Con Hurley from Morin Center and I have been talking for probably years now about how to bring Morin Center and the BBA Banking and Finance Committee together to do something together and to reach out to the legal community, the student community, the business community, and do something in the middle of the business community setting in a way that could cross-fertilize and bring some information to a broader segment than either one of us reaches alone. And out of that, those discussions came the idea for this series, and we're delighted to see all of you here and encourage you to come back every 2 weeks and to spread the word to your friends and to let us know of topics that you find interesting and how you think we're doing as we develop this series. Colin's going to tell you a little bit more about the series itself and our speakers today, so I'm going to turn the podium over to him. One piece of housekeeping, we couldn't fit dessert outside, so dessert is down the bench on the end for anybody who would like to finish lunch with a cookie. With that, I will turn it over to Con Hurley.
Thank you, Nancy, and I'm going to be very brief as well. As Nancy mentioned, this is a collaboration between the Boston Bar Association Banking and Financial Law Committee and the Morin Center. However, I want to add up front, this is not just for lawyers. In fact, it's designed specifically to be for business people and lawyers. As we discussed many times at the Morin Center, the most interesting issues that we face today are a mixture of law and business. As a matter of fact, there are very few just purely legal issues out there. So as we go forward and as we hopefully expand the audience for this program, we will be joined by even many more business people. I want to recognize many of our students who characteristically are sitting in the most remote part of the room. They were drawn here today by the fact that Brown Rudnick has agreed to offer first-year associate positions for anyone that came. We're grateful for that even more than for the lunch. Well, let me tell you what the purpose of this program is. As Nancy mentioned, for a long period of time we've been struggling with how to export the Morin Center to the community downtown. But just as important as that, as Nancy and I talked, so many issues in these crazy times are going by us that it's very hard to absorb them. So what we decided was needed was a method for getting to people together, either in person as this or virtually by the web, and we'll talk about that later, where we could discuss current events in the crazy world over the last few weeks, number one. Number two, to drill down on some important issue of the day. And then finally, the third part of the program is to hear from somebody in the business community, a high-level executive, about their business model, how the recession is affecting them, and what their coping mechanisms are. So, and that is the way we've designed this program, and that will be the way each program will be run. You won't have a long-winded introduction each time by myself. I can't speak for Nancy. But the idea is to hear from probably a member of the bar about everything significant that has gone on in the administration, in the Treasury, in the bank regulatory agencies, the SEC, the CFTC, over the last several weeks. And this week we're delighted to have with us Eric Fischer from Goodwin Procter, who will update us on those events. Most of you in the room know Eric from his days either at Bank of Boston or as general counsel at U.S. Trust, or for these past, how many years, Eric?
9.
9, as a partner at Goodwin Procter. He's a high-profile figure in the industry. And then after Eric, we're going to hear from Andrew Hodgkin, who's going to talk to us on the drill-down portion about credit default swaps. This is a little known. How many people a year ago ever heard of a credit default swap? Be honest. Okay. 4 people in the room are bragging. Good for you. So we'll drill down a bit on that issue, particularly on the regulatory side of it. And then finally, in an obscure business, most of us don't pay much attention to transfer agents, let alone know who the major transfer agents in the world are. But the major, or one of the major transfer agents, is right here in our own backyard. You go by it every day when you travel 128 here in Canton. It's called Computershare. And the CEO for North America, Jay McHale, is going to tell us about their business. Naturally, with the economy slowing, your securities are not trading as fast as they used to. You think they're very active just because they're deflating. But there's also a portion to that that has to do with corporate actions and the transfer agent function. We talk a lot about too big to fail and the infrastructure of this country financially. Transfer agents is part of that too big to fail, or too complex to fail, or too important to fail architecture. So that's generally the format. Eric is going to go first, followed by our other, and then Jay. And it's going to be 20 minutes each, followed by half an hour Q&A. So hold your questions, if you would, until each of our 3 presenters has delivered their remarks. That's it.
Con, you want to comment on the videography?
Oh, yes. This program is being videoed. It will be available in an edited version on the Morin Center website and on the Boston Bar Association website. Lorraine, are you in the room? It'll be available when?
This is our videographer.
Oh, that's pressure. A couple days. Friday?
Friday, okay. Thank you. I'm glad you said that, because that puts the pressure on. Yeah, okay, good. Eric?